down here, for those of you that don't know. I'm fighting the same battles that my father fought in 1960, 1970, and the 1980s. Exactly. How did that happen? I woke up this morning and I felt like a second-class citizen. And that angered me to the point of, exactly, to the point of, I mean, I don't even know what to do. I'm so angry inside right now as to what's happening. But when I see what's happening again in cannabis, are you all aware that since legalization, the arrest of young black children under the age of 21 has gone up by 50%?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Are you guys aware that the arrest of white children has gone down by 9%?
Yes.
Exactly. How did we legalize and stop them from arresting us after the age of 21 and then start them indoctrinating us into the prison system, exactly, under the age of 21? When the purpose of legalization was to stop people, all people, from going to jail for smoking a plant. I also don't understand how your zip code determines whether you are a millionaire or a felon. How come Sean and I get on covers of magazines, and I get to talk about the 25 pounds of marijuana that I sold last week? Yet there was a kid in Alabama last night that sold a dime bag on the corner, and he's facing 10 years.
Yes.
Oh.
We're both Americans. We both did the exact same thing. Why do I get to sit up here and talk about it, and why is he in jail? And I don't know if you know that my brother was arrested for pot when he was 17 years old. He did 10 years in the system, but the most amazing thing about him doing 10 years in the system was my brother picked cotton for 4.5 years in Texas. He picked 100 pounds of cotton every day to purchase his freedom. That's what got me started. It was 10 years ago, right about this time, that I was working for Barack Obama. It was October of 2008. We were doing it. I was also working for Congressman Jared Polis, who is currently running for governor. Congressman Polis and I drove all around Colorado, all in the backwoods up there, and we talked about cannabis. When I had the great opportunity to meet Barack Obama, we talked about cannabis. I'm sorry, me and Jared drove around, and I met Barack Obama. Jared was even surprised at how fast legalization came. The reason why legalization came is because so many people that we hang out with, in other words, college graduates, doctors, lawyers, businessmen, all consume cannabis. In the People's Republic of Boulder, cannabis is consumed at almost every dinner party that I have ever been to in all of those great big fancy houses in the hills. It had to become legal.
Yes.
It had to become legal. But now we're here to talk about today, how do we get involved? For 10 years, I have been begging us to lose the stigma of pot, of weed, of cannabis. Because it is a stigma. We all walk around and want to pretend that we didn't try a joint in high school. We have lots of moms and people that talk about going home after a hard day at work and having a glass of wine or a bottle of wine, and no one has a problem with that, and neither do I. But if I choose to go home with my husband after work and smoke a plant that calms me, that relaxes me, that may even help me with chemotherapy or joint pain or back pain, why does that make me weird or different or someone that should be in jail or watched? I don't understand. I smoked my first joint at 16. I'm the first person in my family to graduate from college, University of Colorado. I'm the first person in my family of a long line of military people to serve as United States military officer. I'm the first person in my family to be an executive in 2 Fortune 100 companies. I'm the first person in my family to own 5 restaurants. I'm the first person in my family to own 2 dispensaries, 2 grow facilities. I'm the first person in my family to work for a United States president. I'm the first person in my family to work for a U.S. governor.
Get it.
And I've been smoking pot religiously since I was 16. Now, I'm not saying that any of that has any correlation to each other, but I could also, I could say I drank wine or whatever else it was that I do, or yoga every day. I don't understand the stigma of cannabis and our community. It is time for us, and I've been saying this for 10 years now, and I gotta tell you, the end of the train is in sight. Either we get smart and jump on this train, or it'll be another thing that we're sitting around going in 20 years, man, you know, we didn't get any part of that.
Yes.
Because I said I grew up here in Colorado Springs, I've been buying weed in Colorado Springs since I was 16. So I know that we know this industry, but we are not a part of the legal industry. Sean and I are always the only two black folks in the room. Oh, and I'm sorry, Miss White Livingston, will you raise your hand for a second? She's like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this to me? Y came down here with me this morning. Y is the owner of Whitestone Teas.
Yes.
She also owns Purple Monkey, which is an infused cannabis tea. She works with Coors. She works at the airport. She is an executive by all ranks, and she's doing an amazing job. And one of the only other black women I know who. We are at the end of being able to get on this train because our brothers and sisters to the north, Canada has legalized. Canada has legalized. Owning a cannabis business in Canada right now is like owning a sign business, a rug business, a chair business. You can mail it, you can open up a shop, you can grow it, it's perfectly legal. It's 100% legal in Canada. You know what that means? Big, 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 big money. It means that South Africa is investing in Canada. It means that Canada is investing in Jamaica. It means that Germany is investing in Canada. Big, big money. So when people come to me and they say, well, I got $20,000, I really want to invest and I really want to get into cannabis. Okay. I don't know if that investment exists anymore, ladies and gentlemen. The only way to get into cannabis right now is through teams and through groups and pulling us all together through funds. We're looking at growing as well too. Simply Pure is bringing back edibles, you know? Everybody I meet, I walk up to, I'm like, I need $3.5 million. When we opened up our first dispensary, I needed $75,000. That's the difference in 10 years. And that 3.5 that I'm looking for is a little bit, and I'm actually having a hard time raising that. You know why? It's not big enough. The investors that are putting money into cannabis right now don't want to put in $3.5 million. That's too much work for them. They're like, you know what? When you get to 40, 50, $100 million, give us a call. At the $100 million level right now, I only know of one black company, and that's Viola Extracts, actually out of Colorado. Al Harrington, former NBA ball player. He has a fund of ball players that are putting up millions. And Al Harrington is now in Colorado, Washington, Oregon, California. He's partnered with us in New Jersey. This is the size of cannabis today. And we're still arguing in our churches, well, you know, those kids out there smoking pot. Really? Let's get past that. Let's get way past that. Because right now, that train is so far out of the station, we are looking at the caboose. We're gonna have to run a little bit here to get on the caboose to get on that train. And we must end the stigma. We must.
So